Hey there, this is Matthew Jennings bringing you another special episode here in INSPRA 2025 in DC. We're talking social media strategies. Stick around. All right, thank you so much for joining me today, Haley. I know we're at the conference. It's busy, a lot of professional development happening. I appreciate you doing this. We are on the conference floor here. It's busy, it's vibrant. You're gonna hear voices, you're gonna hear sounds, you're gonna hear people. There may be people that stop and wave at us. So it's all good. Bear with me here. It's live and it's happening right now. Haley, before we jump into social media strategies, I'd love it if you give us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you work, what your role is.
Hello. So my name's Haley Delai, and I work with Matthew at Peachjar. And I am our senior marketing manager. I head up our marketing department, and usually, if you've heard of my name at all, you know that I am usually behind the camera kind of gal, calling the shots on when these videos get edited, cut, and distributed.
Yeah, not typical to have Haley on this side of the camera, and I will say it wasn't easy to get her on this side of the camera either, but I am so happy she is. She is a wealth of information, and we are extremely lucky to have her at Peachjar, which is awesome. So, with all that being said, let's jump in on social media strategies.
All right, where do we start?
Let's start at the beginning. What is social media, and why is it important to the world? Just kidding.
Too far.
Too far back. No, it's one of those things, and I think you in particular have a really great background as it relates to business and business acumen and savvy around social media and the use of social media to market and brand and all of that. And I have to say that a lot of school districts were charged with that work, but we don't have the training and the expertise and the background that someone like you has. So I always find it unique when I interview someone on one of these podcasts and they were a journalist in their previous life. Mm-hmm. And so they were on the other side of the telephone and they would call me at the school district asking questions about this event or that thing or whatever was going on in the moment. And then when they make the transition over to the school PR side of the house, all of that wonderful knowledge and information that they have from that private sector coming into the public sector is always a really unique perspective. So I think this is really an awesome opportunity for you to share some of the strategies that we leverage at Peachjar around branding and marketing and just some of the things that we think through. Even, I know there are districts out there that are paying to have posts boosted. Mm-hmm. I know there's some districts out there that aren't sure about doing that. Like just talking through how a business approaches social media and what kind of strategies we can leverage at a district.
Yeah, so I think at the high level, like everything has to feel authentic, right? Like it still has to be true to who you are as a brand, and that's whether that's a business, whether that's a personal brand, whether that's a school district, a public entity, a nonprofit, it doesn't matter who you are. It has to feel authentic to you. The biggest thing right there. And then I think a lot of people put pressure on themselves for specific pieces of content. Like we talk about this a lot in like amongst our team, and it's kind of like, oh, you know, do these trends matter? And like sometimes no, but a trend is a trend because it's fun to do. Yeah. And that's what matters. If you're not having fun and you're not being true to your brand, it comes out and it reads stiff. That I think is like the biggest component. So what our team, you know, what we have is we identify pillars. So we pick out 3-4 different concepts. So educational, funny, who's our target audience for that? And sometimes the target audience is just whoever wants to watch the video, and that's okay. Yeah. It's like a social media palate cleanser, if you will. You know, funny cat video here, or something like that. Like, so I think that that's really important. Okay. And also like knowing what your mission is. So there's the brand and there's the mission. If you put the brand as, you know, the backdrop behind us, that has to be bolstered by the mission. So you have those things that work in tandem. And how do we keep our mission in mind? And at Peachjar, that's making sure that school districts, communities, community organizations all have these resources and can work together so that they bring their communities together and whatnot. And that kind of drives a lot of our content forward as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, so school districts, that would relate, you know, to your parents and guardians, your students, your staff, and your community at large as well, which is neat. So, I mean, we still have the same audience.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always talk to school districts about too, whenever I'm talking to a district that's thinking about starting a particular thread on social media or maybe a particular series of videos, everybody gets hung up on the analytics, and the analytics are incredibly important. But if you're making videos and you have, you know, 5 100 to maybe 1,200 views on your video, you know, as an individual, you might think like, oh, that's a fail. But, you know, that's 1,000 eyeballs in your school district that are watching the content you're creating. We're not out there making viral videos. I mean, great if you have a hit that knocks it out of the park and for some reason some student video or something goes viral. But if you don't and you're having consistency and you're posting consistently and you're having consistent views, that's serving the purpose, which is cool.
And you kind of hit it right on the head there. So I'm a big believer in quality over quantity. So the amount of views you have, you can go viral. And then there are times where that's, you know, really cool. And it's a fun thing to talk about. It can be really, there are times where that makes sense from a business perspective to like utilize that. But going viral is kind of something that happens accidentally.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the surprise thing that happens. But you could have 1 million eyeballs looking at a piece of content. If it's not relevant to your community, your audience, your brand, and your mission, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So it is about really keeping it more to that. And it is, you nailed it with the consistency part too. Like, you know, the question becomes like, well, how do I make sure my content gets seen? And no matter what platform you're on, and they all have different algorithms, they all read content differently, how you get your content seen is by posting consistently.
Yeah.
That'll always push it up, and also engaging from that account. So, you know, those of you who have, you know, made comments on Peachjar videos, and if you get a response or something like that, that's someone on our team. So that's engaging. And then also, like, you know, we're people too, and that matters. So I think that's the big one. It's posting consistency. It's posting relevant content. You could have 1 million eyeballs on one video. It doesn't mean a thing. What does matter is that you have 100 videos that maybe have, you know, 500 eyeballs on it, 1,000 eyeballs on it. They're kind of moving in a progressive trend, and it's consistent.
That's cool. Yeah, and be social.
Yeah.
Be social on social. Okay, and then do we have any particular like tactics in our social media strategy that you would be able to share with school districts that they might be able to lean into and leverage to help them get deeper engagement or just get their content out there in more engaging ways? Totally.
So utilize the tools that you have, and sometimes it's not a far reach to go further. Work smarter, not harder, right? Is always, you know, always the statement. But so we have, in our team, we have a social content schedule. So really, you know, on Mondays and Wednesdays, we release short form videos. A lot of times those are cut from our longer form videos. So if you have a video that's 5+ minutes and it's even in a vertical format, there's tons of software out there that you can use to cut that down into shorts. You do not have to spend hours do this manually. Add captioning, add graphics if you want to, but again, not required. And we schedule those out a lot of the times Mondays and Wednesdays.
Cool.
Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, in most cases, we're launching a Peachjar extra credit video. So hello to the Wednesday that this gets launched on. But we find that kind of consistency drives people back. They learn to expect it. On Tuesdays and Thursdays on a couple of our platforms, we share some external articles that are kind of like informational shares. So those might come from different, you know, education type websites or studies that we've seen that are kind of relevant to the communities in which we work and in which we serve. On Fridays, we typically do like a fun quote, an inspirational quote. And we'll still mix it up. Like we still have, you know, random content that's posted at random times, but having that schedule helps kind of keep the pressure down.
Yeah.
And we plan a lot of that out like a month in advance or so. So it doesn't have to be, you know, not a huge lift on that. And because we have that schedule, we are able to plan that, you know, a month or two at a time and not spend like a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and Haley mentioned something that was really impactful I just want to touch on real quick too, is that if you have a longer format horizontal video, you've already done that work. You can go in and cut little vertical snippets of maybe solid gold things. Maybe your superintendent's saying something impactful or speaking on stage, or you have a student in the classroom saying something really cute about an award they won for ceramics or something. you can go back and get additional content out of that longer format video and even point back to that longer format video, which is cool, and drive traffic that way as well, and fill up your social media a little bit more too.
Totally. And you don't have to do that from just video format. A lot of people think too, especially lately, we're in a very like digital, like media centric video age. Very fun, very exciting as a marketer, but also like you can get burnt out on watching videos that
True.
are 30 seconds, 2 minutes long, whatever have you. So a lot of times what we do is, that little quote that you have from a student who won a pottery thing, that's a cute quote. Stick that in a graphic.
There you go.
Because again, you can have as many views as possible on that video, but if it's not reaching your audience, and understanding that is kind of like a big thing. So it's posting consistently amongst video and static graphic content.
Because people will like and share that really easily. And for examples of that, just go to our Peachjar social media, and you'll see many examples of what Haley's talking about right now, which is cool. What about paid?
Always the question.
Yeah, because I know in public ed we talk about it as well. Like, should I boost a post? Should I put something out there for kinder registration and pay to have that go out? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So it's good to do in times in moderation. And I would say do it when you have a following, not when you have a small following. Because when you pay to boost something, it's going out to folks who probably don't know who you are.
Okay, yeah.
Then they're going to click on your profile, and if you don't have if you only have like 100 followers or something, like they're not going to be sure of, kind of if you're a real account.
Yep.
In most cases, that's, you don't have to worry about that, but, full disclaimer there. But also, like, what's your goal? Is your goal to educate as many people as possible in a zip code or community or something like that? Well, yeah, then maybe boosting a post or, using Facebook ad software, Google ads, something like that, and restricting it for an area. Those are really, really effective means of doing that. But if your goal is just views, I don't always know that it's worth it. There's other ways to kind of cultivate that into a longer social media plan.
Okay.
And keep coming back to that video. One of the things that we do is we link back to a lot of our stuff a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll, you can find the original video. We have our posting consistency does the way that we post long form videos and then cut the shorts. They're sometimes months apart.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because you do that initial push as you do in a district. You have an event or whatever, and you go out and post the video, and then you never touch it. You never touch it again in most cases. Whereas if you are doing the verticals and you're pointing back to it, that can be a couple of months down the road, and somebody that maybe saw that video but didn't actually take the time to watch it or lean into it now has space and time to watch it and lean into it. So you'll get more views that way, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Do we leverage any AI or anything like that to help our social and anything like that?
We do periodically.
Okay.
So, my rule when it comes to AI usage is it is a tool.
Okay.
I saw something recently that said that, use AI as your intern, not as your collaborator.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was neat.
Interesting.
Because it's not perfect either, no matter what. Check your captions.
Yep.
It's something as simple as that though, but we do, we've used stuff to help us cut down, like, well, what's an ideal length here? What's an ideal caption? What's an ideal, and using it as a starting point.
Yeah.
Great for inspiration.
Yeah.
YouTube, I think, is like changing some of they're not monetizing AI generated content as much anymore. They're making a policy to stop that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So unrelated, of course, to this end of the conversation, but like the use of AI, you still want whatever you're creating to be authentic, and it's okay to use AI to help support that, but don't let it drive that.
That's cool. Anything else we haven't talked about that you want to share, school districts out there in the land that just want to do a better job or would look at, because I know I talk to districts and they look at an organization like Peachjar and think, man, they've got it together. They know what's going on. And the truth is, no one has the magic bullet.
No one.
And if they did, they'd write a book and we'd all have the magic bullet. So we don't have that, the magic solution that just solves all. But I do think that you and the team do a really fantastic job here at Peachjar and driving content and brand awareness and all of that. And so any last kind of minute thoughts or anything come to mind?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I would say is don't get so caught up in what you think it needs to be. So you've got to be flexible and you've got to be having fun. You've probably seen Matthew do a couple of like very funny like ad hoc little videos with this guy.
Little Peachy.
And that comes out of that, and he's willing to be flexible, and we're like, hey, we saw this like video idea, or we have this video idea, are you willing to do this? And vice versa and whatnot. Inspiration can strike everywhere. I think school districts are in a really and organizations too, like are in a really fun place to do that too, because like the breadth of content, like understanding like kids can't always be on camera, and that's fine.
Yeah, true.
But there's a lot of things that can be.
Yes.
So I think maybe don't have generalized structure, but don't be so rigid in that structure that you're not able to be flexible and have fun.
I love that. Very cool.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, social and marketing, it's humans talking to humans.
There you go.
So, no AI there.
Humans talking to humans. All right, well, hopefully you found this helpful. Be sure to like, share, comment, follow for more. You can always reach out to me. Any questions? We love the comments. We love the questions. Haley, thank you so much for taking time out of the conference to hang out and talk about this. I think it's an important topic, and I know school districts are always trying to figure out how to better leverage social media. This was fantastic. Thank you very, very much. That's it. We'll see you later.
Bye.